which does that. We'll get everybody coming in. I love this part. I love this. This is when all the videos pop up and everybody's coming in. We got a whole bunch of people coming in. Say hi if you can hear and see us. Drop in the chat and just say hello. We are going to be having some fun today. This is literally about creating freedom. Brandon's note taker just really wanted to make sure it was known to be in the room. Hi, Brandon. Brandon himself is coming in the room. I can see that coming in. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to vamp here for a second or two as everybody's jumping in the room, as always. But doing a bit of a roll call here. We've got the who's who coming in. We've got Brandon, of course, Christian's here, Danielle's here, Dave Smith's in the house, Dave West, Ed Taylor, James Paul, Jay Rayo, the man himself, Jeff J. Hunter. Kyle, do you want to make Jeff a co-host with us here? Joshua, Kyle's here as well. Leo, Nathaniel's here. Nick's here. The other Nick's here. Oh my goodness, this is just so cool. I only got up to the end and it stopped scrolling. Rick, Sandy, Tammy, Tyler, Julie, Kevin, Kristen. Who else have we got? Stuart's in the room and a whole bunch more people coming in. And they don't get the benefit of a shout out because they were late. But hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in. It is so good to see you guys. We're going to have some fun. Happy Thursday, Dave. Great to see you. Rick, good to have you with us, man. Sandy, that's okay. No problem. Sometimes everybody else wishes my camera didn't work. So that one we'll let you off with. Great to see you, everyone. We're going to have some fun today. This is, I love to call this the freedom path, right? Because speaking from personal, like literal personal time, this session that we're about to cover is the difference for me that changed my entire business. It allowed me to scale, it allowed me to grow, it allowed me to create the freedom that I got into business for to start with. And I am so pleased actually that we have such a great relationship with our guest presenter this morning. So we started our friendship, our buddyship from just a little while ago when we were looking at being a podcast guest. And that was great. That was such an awesome thing to be able to do together. And then we suddenly found out that we had a whole heap of stuff in common and started to talk about creating freedom in businesses. And of course, our guest host runs a company called VA Staffer, which he created by accident when he was overwhelmed in his job. And in desperation, he kind of found a magic way to solve his overwhelm. And his colleagues went, damn, man, how'd you do that? And suddenly he created a multi-million dollar operation, which has just incredibly blown up since the advent of AI. So I am going to let him do the talking, but literally, guys, in terms of the freedom of your business, there might not be another hour that's more important than this one. So listen up, social media off, pens and paper on path. This is the way that me personally, that so many entrepreneurs that I've worked with over decades now have been able to break free of the day-to-day of their business and create the true lifestyle and freedom that we all got into business to do. So with a huge amount of applause and love, I'm going to bring in our special guest, Mr. Jeff J. Hunter, the man the experts around the world now are turning to for AI. Thank you, buddy. Thank you for coming on board. And how are you? I'm
good. I'm so glad to be back.
Nice to see you, man. Like you've become the jet set. You've become the jet set entrepreneur, man. You've like 58 states in 12 minutes kind of lifestyle.
It's interesting. You know, I definitely, it's not my favorite thing to do, traveling around and stuff, but I do know that it's the most valuable thing that I can do in my business. Is basically doing partnerships and building an audience and teaching and educating. And see, I really love that part. Like you guys are going to see in a moment, like, it hasn't been always easy. You know, the entrepreneurial struggle is real, especially trying to build and grow a team. And now we're in the age of AI. And I'm going to go a little bit over that, but today, the theme is how to create freedom in your business and generate leads on autopilot.
Beautiful.
So a lot of you guys here already have the tools that you need to do this, okay? You just need a little bit of knowledge and you probably need a little bit of help. So that's why I've been brought in here. First, I just want to thank Walt for bringing me in, and Kyle has been working really hard behind the scenes to make this happen. And just I love seeing all the new updates you guys are rolling out on White Label Suite and everything you're doing. And I've just started putting my team to work on it because it's been heaven sent. It's been absolutely just phenomenal, the ability to have just leads on autopilot. And when I started showing Walt what I was doing, he was like, dude, you got to come on here and show our team how to have a virtual assistant do that for you. Yeah, I'll show you how I do it.
Lovely.
So before we start, I'd love to just kind of get a poll of the room, like what kind of businesses you guys are in, how long you've been an entrepreneur. Like, let me see in the chat box. How many of you guys right now are working on building your entrepreneurship? Like, what kind of business are you in? Are you a coach, consultant? You have a web design agency, marketing agency? Like, I know probably a lot of them are agency owners, Walt, I assume.
Yeah, almost everybody here is running a marketing agency or as a business coach. So that's kind of our core group of people. We do have some incredible outliers that are doing amazing things outside of that scope, but I would say probably 90% are digital marketing agency owners or coaches, and in that sort of space.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm looking at all the chat coming in here. Zach says, what's good, Jeff? What's up, man? Marketing agency. We got digital marketer, SaaS, selling SaaS, agency owner just starting, business management consulting. Been there, done that. 40 years in business consultant. Holy smokes. Nice. Life insurance, marketing, and cap raise. Okay. Lead generation. Of course. We're all in the business of lead generation. Come on now.
That's
All
it.
right. So this is beautiful. So I'm going to share with you guys a little something here. Let me see if I get my share screen to work, Walt. Let me try this out here. Let me guys, can you type in the chat if you can see my screen? I hope I'm sharing the right screen.
Got you.
You guys see that? Is it
Yeah,
good?
I got your slide deck, bro.
You got it up? Sweet. All right. So we're going to run through a couple things for you guys on how you can really create freedom in your business and generate leads on autopilot. So the cool part is you guys already have White Label Suite. So you know how to generate leads. The secret sauce here is how to create freedom and generate those leads on autopilot. And that's why I'm here. But before we get into it, why the hell am I here? Blame this guy.
Right.
I know you weren't expecting that, huh, Walt?
No, it's not. That's funny. That's good. I like that. I'll take it though. I'll take it. I'm happy to be blamed for Jeff Hunter being on this call. That's amazing.
We're in a mastermind together. I showed up to the mastermind, talked about how I'm using AI and virtual assistants to basically take over my business. And he was like, dude, you got to come be my secret speaker, man.
Right.
You got to come in here and show these guys what's up. So you can blame him for me showing up. But it all started from a conversation that Walt and I had, which was we just started talking about just the entrepreneurial lifestyle and the common thing that we see, which is everywhere you go, okay, what do you see? On the common denominator between all entrepreneurs is that they're all overworked, right? They're literally doing everything themselves. They're trading their time for money, and they're either burning out or they're on the brink of burnout, right? They're chasing that dollar all the time. They're like, man, I don't know, maybe I'll go get a real job, you know? Right. And I, as an entrepreneur, especially as a new entrepreneur, by the way, I will tell you guys this, if you're a new entrepreneur, because I saw there's a couple in the chat said you're a new entrepreneur, I'm telling you, if you can survive the first 3 years, you're going to do fine. Like the first 3 years are brutal because you're like, I don't know, it's still early, I can still go back to a job.
Yeah.
So, and that's because there's really these 3 lies that we've all been told as an entrepreneur. Number 1 is that the hustle is everything, right? The hustle is everything. Number 2 is that if you're not getting results, it's probably because you're not hustling hard enough, right? And my most favorite lie is if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself, right? It's the biggest cop out for just not being able to have a person who actually cares that can do things for you. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit. And actually, my own assistant, Jackie, that we're going to talk about is on this call right now because she's always on all my calls. And I'm going to show you guys how that works. All right. So any of this sound familiar to you guys? Any of you guys sound familiar? Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So here's what, before we get into it, why the heck am I here? I told you Walt invited me, but I'm going to tell you about why you should listen to me. Okay. So a little introduction about myself. I'm known as the Savage Marketer. I have a virtual assistant company called VA Staffer. We're a permanent staffing agency based in the Philippines. I'm actually leaving to the Philippines in a week and a half, June 8th. So I'll be heading over there soon. In a past life, I'm a Fortune 500 IT project manager. So you can blame me for liking systems and processes. That's my love language. And I'm all about leverage. I'm all about getting the most out of my time, getting the most out of my resources. And that's if there's one thing that I can bestow upon you guys today, it would be that mentality of leverage. I want you guys to think about leverage every day you wake up and really question, should I be doing this? Okay. And is it really something that I know is going to focus on my growth and my own development? And we're going to talk about why that's important in a minute. I've been featured on all sorts of podcasts, ClickFunnels and Digital Marketer. I'm faculty digital marketer. I've been on real TV stations. I've been on shows, on radio. I'm actually featured in over 100,000 textbooks worldwide in the social media management theory and practice. I'm a columnist. I actually write for entrepreneur.com. Take a guess what I write about: virtual teams and leverage artificial intelligence. I also just recently got featured in this month's issue of Success Magazine with Tony Robbins on the cover. So that's kind of a highlight of my life there. But anyway, that was just to float my ego. All right. My life wasn't always like that. Okay. It sucked. To be quite frank with you, I was stuck in the golden handcuffs. If you guys, some of you guys might be stuck in those golden handcuffs right now, where you have a corporate job and you think you got everything figured out. You had a company car, company computer, company phone, all that kind of stuff. But I didn't really know how to build a successful business on the side. It was a side hustle. Anybody in here got a side? Is this your side hustle? Anybody got a real job in here? I want to know. If you got one, I want to see in the chat. I'll come back to it. Yeah, okay. I knew we had some side hustlers in here. All right. So I didn't really know how to build my business the way that I wanted to as an entrepreneur. I come from the corporate world. And to me, like I said earlier, which is the lie that I really sold myself, was it was just easier to do it myself. Because really, I couldn't afford to hire anyone anyway. I was working a job. And even if I did have the money, I didn't even know how to delegate to someone virtually and get results. Okay. So now I did have some pretty big goals though. I wanted to scale my business. I want to be able to help more people, right? I want to build a legacy for my children, and I want to work hard, but at the same time, I don't want to miss out on my kids growing up. I have a 5-year-old and 11-year-old. These are years I'm never going to get back. And I've tried delegating to humans and artificial intelligence many, many times over the years. But I'm finally at a point right now in my life to where I only do what I want to do, what I actually love to do. And I have an amazing team of people who actually love doing the stuff that I hate doing. Okay. So this is the goal I want to get you to. And the cool part is that I already did it the hard way, so you don't have to. So pay attention here, because I'm going to show you the things I've done wrong and what I did right, so you can follow down the same footsteps. Okay. Matter of fact, when I was building my side hustle, for those of you that are side hustling right now, I actually built my side hustle while I had a full-time job, and I became successful at my side hustle. And that's when I left. Right. They actually wrote a story about that at Insider, Business Insider, if you've ever heard of that magazine. But I was featured there, how I outsourced some of my full-time job responsibilities to a virtual assistant, turned that into a business. Here's how I built it: 500,000 a year in revenue. That was quite a while ago. It's making multiple millions a year now. All right. So this is my human staff. All right. So I've got Isabel on the left-hand side. She's my human resource officer. She's the person who's responsible for recruiting the top talent out there. Okay. So let me ask you guys a question. Have any of you guys ever hired a virtual assistant before, or you have one right now? I want to know. Type in the chat. Have you guys ever hired a virtual assistant before? I want to know. Yeah? Okay. Now, let me ask you a completely honest question for those of you who said yes. Okay. Do they last very long? Did you ever have a VA disappear? Right? Look at people are already saying it. Yeah, it sucks frequently, right? So I ended up finding out the hard way too that most people hire from websites like Fiverr, Online Jobs, Upwork. These are freelance websites. And the reason I built my own team of dedicated people is because I found out really quickly that when you hire an entrepreneur as an entrepreneur, it does no good for anyone. Because what you're doing is you're hiring someone who's a business owner just like you. They do not have an employee mindset. So what I do now is I actually go out and I recruit people from call centers in the Philippines. And then I train them how to become executive assistants. So I'm already giving them a salary that's 2 to 3 times more than what they're making at the call center. And instead of working them 6 days a week with mandatory overtime, they get to work on American hours in their pajamas at home. And they love it. Okay. So that's a little secret that I've just given you. Okay. The hard part is finding those people. That's why I have this team here. This is all these two team do all my recruitment, training, operations, everything. All right. And Jackie, the one wearing my little savage marketer hat, we're going to talk about her in a little bit. She's my executive assistant. That's what Walt and Kyle asked me to come in and share, is how I'm leveraging her and how you guys can leverage a Jackie for yourself. As a matter of fact, one of my friends, I just went to a mastermind. I just flew in this morning and came straight to my recording studio for you guys. But Jackie, when I was at the mastermind, was handling all my calls, do my calendar, even my text messages and everything. And they're like, "How do you keep up?" And I said, "Well, my assistant's doing all that." And they're like, "I need a Jackie." And then they said, "You should make a shirt that says, 'We all need a Jackie.'" So today I'm going to show you the secrets of Jackie. All right. So let me ask you guys a question. Okay. You guys have been pretty honest with me so far. I appreciate that. But I want you to be completely honest with me right now. How many hours do you guys work a week? How many hours do you work a week? Be completely honest with me. 50, 70, 80, 20. Okay. Nick says 80. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what we got in here.
I'm not sure that there's enough zeros on the keyboard for most
70, 80, 68. too many, 65. By the way, surprise, surprise, if you didn't know, the average entrepreneur is working about 50 to 75 hours per week. Some of you guys already had admitted in here that you're working 80 hours a week. Zach says 108. Okay, Zach, we're going to talk later, buddy. You might need counseling. All right. So entrepreneurs are those crazy people, like that cliche that entrepreneurs are the only people crazy enough to work 80 hours a week for themselves to avoid working 40 hours a week for someone else, and usually for less pay. Right? Like, we're crazy like that. So the sad part is, not only is that more than an average job, but we get into our business because we want to create freedom, right? We want to create freedom. We want to do what we want to do. We want to create freedom for ourselves and to have time with our families. But sadly, we end up actually spending more time doing work and more time away from our family. The worst part is that we're doing things that we never wanted to do in the first place, right? Anybody? Can I get an amen? Right? Like, this is probably like, oh man, probably hurting some stabs in the heart here. So today I'm going to share with you guys 3 secrets. Okay. Number 1, all right, fire yourself. Who would love to learn today how to fire themselves? Okay. But also being able to double your business after firing yourself. Ooh, now that's an interesting twist. We're going to talk about that. Okay. Secret number 2 is how to focus on your growth, the things that are the most important in your business. Okay. And my personal favorite, which is why Walt is here and Kyle's here, which is to actually multiply yourself. Okay. Now, this right here is about having lead generation done for you on autopilot. Okay. Now, this is all in chronological order. I told you I'm a systems guy. I'm a procedure guy. You can't do secret number 2. You can't do secret number 3. You can't focus on your growth. You can't multiply yourself until you fire yourself first. Okay. And I'll show you why. Okay. All right. I'm a visual learner. Any visual learners in here? I just want you guys to know here. Okay. Just visualize that your business is this bus. Visualize that your business is this bus. If this bus is your business, where should you be sitting on the bus? Anybody? Come on. It's not a trick question. Where should you be sitting on that bus? If your business is the bus, where should you be sitting?
Megan says backseat. I was like, gold star. The people on this call are going to be saying like right near the bar at the back. No, if this is your business, it's going to be the front, right? There's going to be the driver's seat.
They're on the ground rolling around.
Right.
All right. Well, the honesty apparently continues. Thank you, Megan, for being honest with us. Okay. If you're the CEO, then you should be driving the bus. You should be driving the bus, right? Brandon says he feels like he's under the bus. He's under the bus. Okay. I'm going to help you guys out today. Don't even trip. All right. So the problem is you're supposed to be driving it, but someone's got to create all your marketing content. Hello. Now you're doing the marketing job. Someone's got to be the web developer. Someone's got to make the changes to your WordPress or whatever you're doing, or maybe you got a blog or your lead gen or your landing page, right? Someone's got to do the admin stuff. Maybe you're a course creator. I saw some of you guys said that you're like a coach consultant. So I'm assuming you have a members portal. They forgot their password. You're helping them log in. Okay. That brings me into support, right? Like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I supposed to do? Okay. But you can see the sales guy. He's always up in the front seat next to the driver, because we're like, oh, that worked. People are willing to pay for that. So let's go that way. Right. This guy's always telling you where to go. The sales guy. Right. And then the bus needs to be clean. So now you're in the back rolling around trying to pick up the debris from everyone on the bus. Okay. Wouldn't it be amazing if someone said stripper pole in the back? That's good too. All right. Wouldn't it just be amazing to be able to get up on the bus? Yeah. If you didn't know, that is me with bald head. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, oh, I don't take my hat off that often. When I do, people are like, oh, I didn't know you were bald. So I throw a bald picture in there once in a while to remind you guys I don't have a full head like Walt.
Hey, it's receding, bro. That's savage, man. That's savage, huh? Savage.
I don't even have enough to do the Trump come over. You know what I'm saying? I can't even do that. So it would be amazing, right? And then the cool part is you can have AI and human employees that are doing 90% of the work for you. Okay. You're going to have AI and virtual assistants doing 90% of the work for you, just like I do. I'm going to share with you guys how you can have them do all the stuff that sucks your life and your passion away and generate leads for you today. Okay. So now I've done a lot of things right. You know, I told you my business is doing really well, but I have definitely taken 10 years to get here. Okay. By the way, this picture right here, this is a picture that I thought I was very handsome and happy that day. I sent this selfie to my wife. At the time, I was an IT project manager for a Fortune 500. I was actually helping build this hospital area here at Oregon Health Sciences University up in Portland, Oregon. And I thought I looked good in that picture. Looking back, I see a very sad, distraught person who was very unhappy with his life. One of the reasons is because I had hired way more of the wrong people than I'd like. You ever hire the wrong person? That leads us to the second part, why hiring the wrong person sucks. Wasting your time training the wrong person, right? That person who you put all of your passion, your time into, and you want them to care, right? But they just don't. Or they disappear, right? I've also spent so much time in my office just trying to figure out how to do simple things, how to use ChatGPT, how to use things, how to communicate with people, how to run my software. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of you guys have been using White Label Suite for a while. I bet you some of you guys don't even know all the things it does. You don't even know. Okay. Because you haven't figured it out yet. Okay. So that, don't worry, by the way, because at the end of this, we're gonna run through some of that. We're gonna show you guys what you can actually do and have a VA do it for you. Okay. I didn't understand how to hire different cultures. Just like I told you earlier, I used to hire entrepreneurs. I used to go on Upwork and online jobs and Fiverr, and I would hire virtual assistants that were just juggling clients. And I was just another client they were juggling. They'd work 3, 4, 5 clients and their profile's up on Upwork. So as soon as somebody offers them more money, they're done working for you, right? That's the sucky part about freelancers. Sometimes they just didn't show up. A couple of people already admitted here in the chat that they've had that experience already with a VA. And I was just already stressed out trying to build a business, and I just didn't want to deal with people. You know, I just wanted somebody who actually could do the work and care about their job. So it was kind of a nightmare in the beginning until I learned these 3 secrets of what I said, the magic word again, leverage. Okay. So secret number 1, I'm going to show you guys how I doubled my business after firing myself. Okay. So first off, I want you guys to type in revenue generating activities in the chat. Okay. I want it now. You guys are going to be like, oh, he's making me type a lot. I want you guys to remember this. That's why I'm doing that. Type revenue generating activities in the chat. Okay. Because those are the things that we want you to focus on. We want to fire yourself from the non-revenue generating activities. Okay. Those are not important for you to do. They may be important for someone to do, but not important for you to do. Okay. Non-revenue gen. Wow. You guys are actually good typers and spellers, apparently. Revenue generating activities. That's exactly it. That's what we want to focus on. Okay. So, but before we can really do the RGAs, those revenue generating activities, we got to get rid of ourselves. So here's that story about Jackie again. This is my assistant, Jackie. She always gets mad when I post this picture because this is from like 10 years ago and she took this picture or something like that. All right. But to me, you know, I wrote a post on LinkedIn about just 6 things that my assistant does for me, and it went nuts. It was one of the most liked and commented on posts I've ever made in my entire life. 476 likes and 165 comments. And all I did was talk about the things she does. Don't worry, we're going to go over those right here. Okay. I don't have to write my newsletters, email newsletters anymore. I don't have to take any notes on a call anymore. I don't need to do my sales proposals anymore. I don't need to spend hours creating my social media calendar and my posts anymore. What I need to do is focus on the tasks that make the most money and remove myself from the things that eat up my time, not her time. It should be my time. Because now it's eating up her time. All right, I'm going to put the spelling on that. There we go. All right, that's her time that's getting eaten up, not me anymore. All right. So we want to definitely make sure that we're focused on revenue generating activity. I like what David said, profit producing activities, PPA. I'm going to keep that up. I like that one. Keep it coming, David. You guys got good ideas for me. Keep them coming. Profit producing activities. Jackie, write that down.
See? And update the slide for next time.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, now my assistant can update the slide. All right. So what are we going to do now, guys? That's just a couple things she does for me. You want to see a couple things more she does for me? Boom. So I wrote this post. I want you to take a look at the date here, just kind of cut off. November 22nd of 2021. This is before ChatGPT, y'all. Okay. This is all the things she did before AI. Email management, following up with clients and customers, sending thank yous and email reminders, booking appointments with my clients, setting up autoresponders and ActiveCampaign and MailChimp, receptionist duties. Yeah, she barely does that, but okay. Calendar management, file management, database building, updating my email contact list, you know, data enrichment. Anybody know that word from White Label Suite? File management, database building, research on certain topics, blog posts, newsletters, personal errands, purchasing gifts for loved ones on their birthdays and things, hotels and flight booking, transcriptions, taking down meeting minutes, creating basic reports, preparing slideshows like this. By the way, she actually helped me put the slide set together here too. Social media accounts, updating my blog, publishing posts on my LinkedIn, commenting back and forth to people on LinkedIn, and I'm having her go out and actually comment on potential clients' LinkedIn. Ooh, huh? Right? And she's answering my support tickets, participating in discussion forums. And I like my last line here is that what's crazier is that that's just a few things I could think of that she does. Okay. Now, let me ask you guys a question. If you had a virtual assistant, which one of those things would you have her do?
So
if you had a Jackie, what would you have her do?
Right. I want you guys to think about that in the chat. But Jeff, I just want to ask the team a question here. So we've got, let's see, we've got 50 people on here live. A whole bunch of people going to be watching this at a future time, I'm sure. Guys, just while you're thinking about what you would get Jackie to do, who here in the room owns their own company? Like who here is the owner of the company? Just give me a 1 in the chat if you're the boss, right? Just give me a 1 if you're the boss. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, cool. Awesome. So the role of the boss, right, is to make the company run the right way. And we're talking about firing yourself. So I just want to ask you right now on this call, all of the things that we saw Jeff's bus seats doing. You're the marketing person, you're the salesperson, you're the admin person, you're the support person. Who here can honestly give me a 1 if they are the best in the world at every single one of those tasks? Put a 1 in the chat if you, as an individual, are the best in the world at every one of those tasks. And I'm kind of expecting nobody's going to put a 1 in there.
Nobody's. Right? Type
right?
a 2 if you're not.
Like,
there.
Right?
Type a 2 if you're not. Type a 2 if you're not.
Type a 2 if there's somebody in the world that's better at you and at any one of those tasks. Right? So here we go. Here's the reality. Here's the reality. This hit me like a brick to the side of the head. If you're the boss, this is somebody that was talking to me, right? If you're the boss and your job is to build the best company that you can, why the hell are you doing the sales, the marketing, the web design, the admin, the support, when you're not the best at any of those things? How can you have an employee in your company doing those things? And this was this was a brick to the head. This was a mentor that asked me this about 10 years ago. And he said to me, if you were evaluating your own performance as a salesperson, what would your score out of 10 be? And I said, if my only job was a salesperson, my score would be maybe a 1 out of 10. Why? Because I spend like 1 hour a week doing that. And I've got 39 hours, like 79 hours doing the other things. Okay. So you should fire yourself as a salesperson. Yeah. If I was like my boss, I should fire myself as a salesperson. Right. How would you rank yourself out of 10 as the marketing guy? Yeah, maybe a 2. All right. So you've got an employee in your bank that's a 2 out of 10, and you need to fire that guy. Right. Then it was like, okay, how are you at your admin and support? I'd say, like, again, out of my 80 hours in a week, I'm probably spending 3 hours doing that. So I'd have to give myself like a 1.5 out of 10. It's like, dude, you've got 3 employees that you've just said to me are like 1, 2 out of 10, 1.5 out of 10, and they're still on your payroll. I'm like, yeah, but I can't afford to hire somebody else. Brother, you can't afford not to. Because honestly, and we're going to get to this point, you're ranking a 1 out of 10 in the jobs that you're doing, which means you are literally the worst performer. If somebody that you were paying a salary for was ranking a 1 out of 10 in any one of those jobs, they'd be out the door. So he's like, you got to fire yourself as the salesperson. You got to fire yourself as the marketing person. You got to fire yourself as the admin person because you suck at all of those jobs. You're putting in 1 hour a week.
Walt, I want to just take a step back for a second, because I want to make sure that I'm giving people accurate advice as well. And I will tell you, if there is one job that somebody should do in their business and not outsource, it's probably sales.
Absolutely. 100%.
The reason why most people suck at sales is because they ain't got time to do it.
That's it. Right. That's it. So like your sales is the #1 revenue generating activity, profit producing activity. Then stop being the cleaner. Right.
Right.
And I'll just my
That's the
last
key.
ever story, and I'll get back to Jeff because, like, dude,
No, go for it, Walt, please.
So this mentor of mine, a guy named Dean, he literally taught me how to be an independent person on this planet. And I was working for him at the time. We're still good friends. And so we're working in an office. Last time I had an actual job. And one morning we came in, and the cleaners overnight hadn't emptied the bins. Right? Anybody who's worked in an office, like, you come in the morning and the cleaners have been overnight and the bins have been, and Dean lost his shit. He's the most calm, collected dude I've ever met. And he absolutely lost his shit that the bins haven't been emptied. Right. And he's going nuts in the middle of the office. Like, he's just like, he's throwing stuff. I'm just going, what the hell? And like trying to calm him down. I've gone, Dean. It's okay, man. I'll take the bins out right now. And he, like, that set him off even more. He's sorry for swearing, everybody. All right. If the kids are awake, I'm sorry for this. He's gone, that's the exact fucking problem. I was the top sales guy. He's gone, now my top sales guy has got to empty the bin instead of making a sales call. Right. And this was his point. And we're coming back to Jeff. Right. Everybody in the team has a job to do. And the people who do their job do it exceptionally well, which means the people who are doing the revenue generating activities can do their job super well. But as soon as you're not doing the revenue generating activities with every ounce of your being, you got to take the bins out. Right? You got to focus where the money's at. And Jeff, you got to fire yourself. You got to fire yourself because you suck as an employee at all of those jobs. Maybe you're great at one. That's why I have this sign on the wall. There's one thing that you're great at. That's your magic. That's where you should be focusing, and let everybody else put the show together for you. Right? You got to fire yourself. Jeff, just endorsing you there, man.
Wow. That one hit me because, it's funny. I actually, let me go back a couple slides. I want to show you, I showed you a picture of my team earlier, and one of those people who you actually got to talk to before, his name's Julio. Mm-hmm. So Julio is this guy right here. And funny story is that I always did my own sales. And that was the one job I knew that I shouldn't replace. And I was approached by Julio. He says, hey, because I do a lot of outreach in the Philippines. And he started following me, and he says, hey, just so you know, I'm not looking for another job right now. I have a very successful job as a sales trainer here in the Philippines, and I love my job. He's like, but I would just love to work for you. And I said, well, what would you do? And he says, well, I would do sales. And I actually messaged him and I said, well, unfortunately for you, I don't have a position open for sales because I do all the sales. And he goes, well, give me a couple days and I'll share with you why I should be the person doing the sales and not you. And he came back with a 17-page PowerPoint presentation called Why You Should Hire Me. And he sold me on page 2. So page 1 was the title page with the Why You Should Hire Me. Page 2 was a bar chart with all the things he's proficient at. It said Microsoft Word, 93%. It said Microsoft Office, 91%. Social media content creation, 85%. The next one, which killed me, said, I can't even get it out without laughing. It said diet, 35%. And then he put in parentheses, loves fried chicken. And I was like, this is the guy, right? But the rest of his presentation basically said, hey, look, you should not, like, how many calls are you taking every day? And what are you doing with your time? And actually, he kind of pushed me like, no, I should be out there doing stuff. I should be out there focusing on growth. I should be focused on marketing. So I have finally removed myself from sales, and 100% of my job for this company is marketing. 100% of my job is to show up on calls like this with Walt, just talk about my team and literally talk. That's literally all I do is I share people how I use my team and it sells itself. That's what I do, right?
Amazing.
So let me share with you guys how you can do that for yourselves. Okay. So we went over this bus. We went over all the stuff that my team does, everything that I did wrong. Okay. So I told you all the things I don't have to do anymore. Now, you guys already wrote basically that you would rather have a VA do all this stuff on here. Basically, I mean, everyone in the chat's like, yeah, this is it. Right? Like, yeah, if I had a VA, I would just have them do everything. Right? So here's the thing. That was before ChatGPT. Okay. When ChatGPT came out, it supercharged my executive assistant. So before I move on, I want to tell you guys kind of a sad story. I almost sold this company last year. I almost sold VA Staffer last year. I know, Walt, I told you about this. This was a really tough time for me because when ChatGPT came out November of 2022, I said, man, why would someone spend $1,500 for even a really highly qualified executive assistant? You know, like our executive assistants, we literally recruit them with we have three core values at our company. One is adaptability, their ability to learn something new and fast, which is why Walt and I decided to work together, because we literally trained our team how to use White Label Suite fast. We did it in one call with Kyle, right? Number two is work ethic. We want people that actually show up, that are on time, they're punctual. And number three is we want people that give a damn. Yes, by the way, in our core values on our website, number three is give a damn. Because if you're very adaptable and you have strong work ethic, but you don't give a damn, it's not going to work. If you give a damn, but you're not very adaptable and you have some good work ethic, it's not going to work. You have to have all three of them to really work. And you know, the ironic thing here is that all three of those qualities that I shared with you, they're not teachable. You can't teach someone how to be adaptable. You can't teach someone work ethic, and you can't teach someone how to give a damn. Okay. But what I found though, is if people are adaptable, have good work ethic, and give a damn, you can teach them almost anything. See how that works? So that's the secret that I've found when it comes to it. As a matter of fact, I actually wrote my last article on entrepreneur.com is called Language Barrier. By the way, I did not write this title. If you've ever written for a large publisher, you will know that when you submit your article and you give them a title, they will never use your title. My title was way cooler because I'm a marketer, but their weird ass title was Language Barriers Divide Global Workforces, but not for long with this new technology. Basically, it's talking about how AI has now supercharged my team to do things they've never done before. If you ever called a call center, if you ever called up customer support for your telecom company and you get somebody in the Philippines, you can tell right away that they're from the Philippines. They speak English, but it's a different dialect of English. It's Filipino dialect, right? They use different words than Americans. Do we have any Filipinos on here besides my assistant? Any Filipinos on here? Just curious. We only have we do have a decent amount of people. Maybe somebody's. If you are Filipino or you had someone on your team who's Filipino, one of the things that's funny when I go to the Philippines, one of the things that's funny is a word that we never use here in America, probably never used down there in Australia, but it's like the number one word anytime they go to take a picture. You know how we go like cheese to take a picture? You know what they do? They go compress, compress. Like to squeeze in, compress. It's like whoever says in American English or Australian English the word compress. No one, unless maybe you're an engineer or a mechanic, or maybe compression socks. I don't know. But now we don't have the language barrier anymore because literally these VAs are able to use AI to speak perfect English. Okay. So now AI integrations literally revolutionized what my own assistant has done. So in November of last year, we put together a hit list. What are all the things we need to train our virtual assistants to do? Because when I told you, crazy enough, I almost sold this VA staffer business with 150 people last year because in November, I was like, wow, why would someone want to hire a virtual assistant, even as good as they are for me, for $1,500 when they can use ChatGPT for free? That's what I was thinking. I talked to one of my business mentors. He was like, yeah, maybe it's a good time. Maybe AI is going to blow up and people don't need humans anymore. And then I found out something. Someone still has to do the work. Someone still has to check the work. Someone still has to run the AI, and somebody still has to actually give a damn. You know how one thing the AI will never do for you is give a damn. Okay? It just won't. And if you can't do those three things, sure, AI is very adaptable. It's learning all the time. Sure, it has great work ethic. It works around the clock 24/7, never complains, but it can't give a damn, so it doesn't work for me. Okay? Somebody who gives a damn has to run it. Okay? So now she's able to use AI to do tons of things that she used to do for me. Faster, better, more productive, meeting minutes, slide presentations. She wrote this whole list to my trainer, my recruiter and trainer, Isabel and Carlin. This is November. So we have been training all of our new AI, all of our new virtual assistants that are humans with this AI virtual assistants to do meeting minutes, slide presentations, LinkedIn engagement, emails, social media, contracts and proposals, social media posts, video transcriptions, analyzing long form videos and creating summaries, bios. You ever come onto a podcast or whatever and you need a new bio, case studies, abandoned cart emails, newsletters, images, mock-up for t-shirts. Even this t-shirt right here was designed using AI. This is a fun t-shirt. It says probably my most typed prompt of all time, which is make each sentence its own paragraph. If you're a copywriter, this would make you laugh because you know. All right. You can always tell when someone's using ChatGPT because it's always a block of text, right? So now the AI VAs can do way more. So that's secret number one, okay? By removing yourself from the repetitive tasks, I was able to do the following. I've now built a world-recognized brand. I hop on business calls that turn into sales. I've become a speaker at events. I literally just flew back from speaking at a 2-day event, and I flew in this morning and came straight to my studio. I'm speaking right here with you guys. This is evidence and truth that this is now what I'm doing full time. Okay. And by the way, I get to spend more time with my family, not less. Okay. Now, secret number one. Okay. I want you guys to type in the chat. Let's see if you guys are still awake. I want you guys to type fire yourself in the chat. Let me see if you guys are still awake. Fire yourself. Okay. At this point, you guys should see how important it is to fire yourself.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
Fire yourself is super important. Okay, keep that in there. Remember, you get that visual cue. You have you know what's funny about typing? It's actually, it uses 3 senses, right? Because you see it with your eyes, but you also, it's a tactile response as well. So you actually feel it too. Like, I want you guys to truly remember this. It's super important. Okay, you hear me say it. You've typed it for yourself. And now you felt it type. So hopefully it'll stay in there. Okay. I love that. David West. That's nice, beautiful. Man. Thanks for putting that "you're fired" in there. Okay. So number 2, this is where the good stuff comes in. Okay. And like I said, you can't do this until you fire yourself. Okay. Focusing on your growth. Okay. It's really important that we actually increase our brand awareness. Okay. Authority and brand awareness. Okay, you guys wouldn't take me seriously if I was just some guy off the street who makes a couple bucks or negative bucks, right? Like, I truly, genuinely right now have an entire team of people that run my business. I could literally not even log on my phone. I could throw it into the water. I could go somewhere for a month and I come back and my business would increase, not decrease. It would increase while I'm gone. And not many people can do that. Most people can't even go a week without their phone off, without their business crumbling and dying. Okay. So this is what I'm going to share with you guys. Okay. So we all have our zone of genius, like Walt says, the magic that's inside of us, right? And the key to success is hiring people that complement our skills and not compete with them. I told you earlier about how a lot of people mess up because they hire entrepreneurs. Okay. They hire entrepreneurs, which is a huge conflict, by the way, if you're an entrepreneur. So because I've been able to fire myself, I actually just literally a month ago, 2 months ago, actually launched this new Facebook group that I launched called AI for Business. Walt, you should be in there, by the way.
I am, bro. I am. I am
Oh,
in
I
there.
thought so. You're in there already. And now I've been able to do lots of trainings and things like that in there. Like I've been kind of obsessed with AI lately, not gonna lie. It's been fun. I've never had time to do that. And cool part is I don't have to worry about creating the content because I have a team of people that literally repurpose all my videos for my talks and things like that. They take they use AI to create social media content. They're doing all that stuff. They're engaging in my group. Anytime somebody says something, they're asking a question, support in the group, they get an answer by my team. Okay. I have someone, her name's Lizelle, I hired just to do that, just to oversee the group. Well, she does a lot more than that, but that's one of the things she does. Okay. I don't have to worry about managing my members. I get to focus on building connection and teaching, which is actually what I love to do. Funny story. I actually used to be a huge introvert, huge introvert. I hired a coach in 2017 and she made me do a Facebook Live every day for a month. And I hated it, guys. I hated it. The only person that would log on in the very beginning was my mom. My mom would be like, keep it up, son. I'm like, I'd call her afterwards. I'm like, please don't comment on my videos. I want these
Don't
people
comment
to
on
take
my
me
video.
seriously. It was horrible, right? And now I have time to work on my business. Okay. Now I have time to work on my business. This is the key. Okay. Not in my business. Okay. You'll notice that little dot there. Not in my business. This is that key part about firing yourself again. See, you can't focus on the growth until you fire yourself.
Jeff, just pause there for a second. Just pause for a second. Just pause for a second. So pause for a second with that on the screen. Leave that on the screen. And no. Leave the QR code, guys. You can go and join Jeff's business.
Oh, that's just my Facebook group. If you guys,
yeah, you can join it. So guys, you can do that. But leave that on the screen. Just for a second. Just humor me, dude. This Facebook group that you've created is full of business owners, clearly,
right?
And there's 3,500 people in there that you've managed to bring into that group over a period of 6-7 weeks.
3.3 thousand. You guys see that? 3.
Amazing. Dude, just purely from your own business acumen and knowledge, put a value on this asset for me. Like, what is this asset worth? Give me a real accurate value of to
if
what
I'm going to be completely honest with you, I would say probably, I don't know, maybe thousands of dollars because it's new.
Say, like if you made a post in there, if you did a sales pitch in there, you could probably pull out, $100,000 in a.
Well, in that case, I thought you meant selling it, but
yeah. So I'm trying to value the asset. I mean, again, as a business owner, what is this group's value to your turnover?
So this group is where I'm posting tips and tricks, and I get people excited about other things I'm doing. I get them to sign up for my newsletter.
Right.
I promote my products and software in there, my virtual assistant team.
Absolutely.
So I'm promoting all sorts of stuff in there. This Facebook group alone, probably in the past 2 months, has made me close to, I'd say, $40,000-$50,000 just in this Facebook group.
Amazing. All right. So let's just do that. Let's go. You created an asset that has generated $40,000-$50,000 in the last 6-7 weeks, right? All right, guys, and I'm leading somewhere here. You created an asset that has generated 40-50 grand, and you have been able to just, like, your time hasn't been all in there because it's been your team and it's been all that kind of stuff. Guys, just let me know in the chat box, how many of us know that we could create assets that bring us in revenue, but we don't have the what? Type it in the chat for me. I would do it, but I don't have the. I want you to type what that last little piece is. You would do it. You would do it too, but you don't have the. Come on, you guys, tell me. There's things that you know that you are doing in your business, that you would do in your business, that you should do in your business, and you say to yourself, "I would do it, but I don't have the what? I don't have the what." All right, let's see if we got those answers coming through there.
They're coming in, baby. They're all saying the same thing.
You got it.
I love what Zach says, brass balls.
Right. So I remember saying to Johan, our business partner here, he was talking about, and this is before we got our business stuff sorted, like we were, 3 years ago, still trying to put the pieces together. And Johan's like, we should create a Facebook group. And I said to him, I don't have the, to and he's like, wow. Now we have an incredible team of people, Mr. Kyle heading it up there, just like, dude, you know how much I love you and respect you, just incredible. The team that we have there allows us to create assets that have massive value, right? Because
So
if you don't have the time, you can't create the value. That's the point. If you've got the time, you can create assets that can spit out cash because you've got the brain for the business, right? But you need to have the team to give you the time.
I want to dispel something that people are incorrectly saying here. Okay. And I'm going to hurt some egos in here, but it doesn't take skills to do what I'm doing. Okay. Like, I would love to sit here and be like, yeah, I have lots of skills. What I'm doing to get people to join my Facebook group is very simple. And I'm going to show you one right now. Okay. So put on that cap real quick and take a peek at some of the stuff I'm doing. By the way, these are all the different events I've been at the last couple of days. I'm at a mastermind. You know, this is Julia McCoy. She's the president of Content at Scale, one of the biggest AI companies on the planet. And she's bragging on a Facebook post that she's using what she learned from me to teach her staff. Okay. All right. And by the way, that training that she's teaching her people on was the slide set that my virtual assistant made in 2017. Okay. So let me show you something. All right. Watch this. Look at this post right here. You guys see this? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about doing a 5-day challenge in my Facebook group to help people implement AI in their business. Okay. Now, someone said in the chat, and this is really good, this is actually a perfect way to switch back. What does all this have to do with White Label Suite? Aha. Now we're getting somewhere, huh, Walt?
Absolutely.
That's exactly the right question, Danny. I'm so glad you said that. Okay.
And just to preface, what does it have to do with White Label Suite? Kyle and I sitting together, looking at what we call our exit interviews. When somebody says, hey, you know, cancel my membership, you know, whatever. And we're like, okay, cool. We ask a couple of questions like, you know, what's making you leave? What can we do? How can we improve? That's part of our improvement cycle, right? The number one answer.
They didn't have the.
You got it. That 4-letter word all over again. They didn't have the time. They weren't using it. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, my mind is melting because on the right-hand side of my screen, I like literally have it open right now because we're doing a video. Like, I have a folder full of hundreds of testimonials of people making money with White Label Suite. And on the left-hand side of the screen, I had my exit interviews going, I wasn't using it, didn't have time to use it properly, didn't really know how to use it. And I'm going, wait, the people that are using it are making money. And the people that are leaving because they weren't using it. And I'm going, we need Jeff.
We're perplexed. I mean,
right, we need Jeff straight up. Like we need Jeff to come in and help our people use the very thing they have at their fingertips to make money. Right, guys, making money is not an evil thing. And I've said this on calls before. I met a guy who was the very first person I ever met personally that was a self-made multi-millionaire, right? And I'm like spending time with this guy. His name's Mark. Spending an incredible time with this guy. And he had somebody in the audience pop their hand up and he's like, this guy in the audience was like, don't you feel guilty making so much money? And Mark, like, to his credit, didn't diss the guy. He literally said, you know, the very best way to help the poor people is not to become one of them. And he said, last year I gave over $10 million to charity. Right? He's like, I can't do that if I'm broke.
My cup runneth over, Walt.
Making money is not an evil thing, you guys. Making money means that you're investing, you're creating opportunities, you're creating jobs, you're feeding families. Like one of our team, Kyle, you saw that post from Brian, right? One of our team in the Philippines. Brian posted up this image and he was like, hey guys, I just want to let you know that I got my mom into a house and I was able to like renovate it and like clean up her house and do all this kind of stuff. And I was only able to do that because of this job.
Wow.
right? And like our team, like Joanna's just about to go on maternity leave. We're paying for her months while she's away because she's a valuable employee with us. Making money is not a bad thing. Making money allows you to create incredible ripples in your world, right? But so let's bring this back. Let's bring this back so that we can help our people here. Kyle and I sitting together going, the people who aren't using it are leaving. And the people who are using it are making money. I'm making.
Can I also be greedy for a second?
Please do.
This is why this partnership between Walt and I works so good, is because guess what? The number one reason why people discontinue using our virtual assistants is because they can't figure out how to make their virtual assistant make them money.
Right. What do I do with this virtual assistant? How can I pay for this virtual assistant? Let's match these two.
So if you have a virtual assistant, it's like, I'm always transparent. It's $1,500 a month to have a highly trained, qualified executive assistant that can do all the stuff I showed you how to do today. Okay. Like there's no pitch on this, by the way. At the very end of this, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to book a free strategy call. I'm not taking any money. I have no sales pitch. Okay. This is because I want to make sure we have the right people. Okay. But this is what's beautiful, is that so many times people come to me and they say, you know what? I can't afford a virtual assistant. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, like if you only knew, every single virtual assistant I ever hire makes me money.
Right. It's every one of them is an investment.
Right? Like I'm having my VA go on LinkedIn and do outreach for me and get me on podcasts. And every time
does that for me.
Yeah. And every time I go on a podcast, I'm
this afternoon, I am on a podcast with one of my heroes. Like this is a guy that trained with Jim Rohn. His name's Chris Widener. I've got my booking with him this afternoon. Chris has got 3.5 million followers, right? And I'm on his podcast this afternoon talking about my business, White Label Suite, right? Now, that happened. I've never spoken to Chris. I have no idea how that got into my calendar, except Carla, my assistant in the Philippines, set that up for me. She set up an incredible podcast meeting last week. Like the exposure for our business has actually seen the revenue hockey stick because our virtual assistants are not an expense. We're working with our virtual assistants and they are making us money. Let's focus on the fact that this investment in your team allows you to make more money. This is what this is all about. Free your time so you can make more money. Go for it, bro.
And guess what, guys? Guess what the rest of my darn presentation is? Exactly this right now. Okay. I no longer have to feel overwhelmed about all the dozens moving pieces in my business. We all talk about that bus because I have a whole team of virtual assistants that know how to help me out, that can do all this stuff. My brand has become instantly recognizable. I've developed meaningful relationships with Walt and people like that. I'm able to speak on stage and travel. And now I get to focus on networking, events to grow my, guess what? Audience and authority, what we just talked about, right? And by the way, I get to speak all over the world about that zone of genius that we talked about earlier. And I get to hang out with pretty cool people, you know? Like, so if you guys know anything about AI, on the bottom picture, this is me and Matt Wolf, and there's Julia McCoy. Alicia Little, the queen of AI. Like this is some really awesome people. On the left screen, if you zoomed in big enough, if you know anything about Asia, the guy who I'm playing Xbox with right there is JJ Lin. He's the Justin Bieber of Asia. And all the way to the back wall is Paul Walker's little brother, Cody Walker. I'm sitting here hanging out with celebrities playing Xbox with them. Okay. So like, this is some of the cool experiences that I've had to have in my life because this is what I get to focus on. I don't have to worry about my team. Okay. I get to do some really cool collaborations. Okay. Like JVing with Walt, right? I'm literally on all these podcasts, like on the left, these are 2 different podcasts I was on with Katya and Tani. By the way, the reason I put those pictures together is because this podcast that you see on the left with like the purple lighting and stuff, the girl in the hat there, Katya, she actually is working on the very first generative AI course at the University of South Florida. And she invited me in to actually co-teach at the University of South Florida, their very first generative AI course.
So cool.
Right. And this is just 2 days ago at the AI Mavericks Mastermind. This is Gary Fowler. He's sold like $5 billion worth of companies. He's been in AI for over 2 decades, which, by the way, yes, AI has been around for 2 decades. It just wasn't what it was before ChatGPT. This is Scott Duffy. He's the guy who actually helped me out in my life back in the day, who got me my very first speaking gig back in 2017. I get to reconnect with these guys. Okay. And I actually get to build my own team. You'll see up here a picture with all my virtual assistants in the Philippines, where I was actually doing an artificial intelligence training for them, which is fun. I get to focus on teaching. I get to focus on building my team, right? Something that people often overlook, which is actually working on your team, not in the team, working on the team, making sure your team is better, right? You don't have to actually. I want to just come back to how important it is to have somebody that actually cares about you and your business. Like, it's so different to know that I wake up and I have Jackie, who every day I wake up, she will have a to-do list for me with everything that I'm supposed to do for the day. And she's gone through all my emails before I even wake up. She starts her shift on purpose. By the way, here's a hack for you guys. If you guys do get a VA, have your VA start their shift 1 hour before you wake up. That way, when you wake up, when you look at your phone, you don't wake up in notification hell. Okay? It's done for you. Your VA's already checked your emails. Your VA's already checked your LinkedIn messages, already checked your Instagram, already checked your Facebook messages or whatever. Okay? So, I want you guys to type that in the chat. That was a lot. That was a lot to go over.
That was good. I'm sorry for derailing you, bro. Like I'm just so passionate about this for everybody to achieve the freedom that we all got into this for. I'm so passionate about it. So I'm sorry, bro. Keep going, man, because this is like we want this. We want our team to get this going for themselves.
Yeah, you know what? Danny says he has to go and he wants to book a call, so I'm just going to drop a link in there for him.
Yeah, do that. Drop the link, guys. While Jeff's dropping that link in there, we want you guys to be successful. So Kyle from our team has been working with Jeff and his team and Jackie and the crew over there, and has been working with the team from VA Staffer here, and we have put together a seriously cool SOP document that stands for Standard Operating Procedure Document. It's a training document that when you start working with VA Staffer and the team, we have got the SOPs for you, like the literal training and checklists, so that these two companies can work hand in glove, right? It's like our crew have put together with Jeff's crew, the actual training manual, the flight manual, so that you can launch this thing straight up. So now you can get a VA. You don't even need to train them because we've documented the training, and you can say, please do this for me, right? And this is generate leads, right? So as you're dropping that link in there, for anybody that's got to head off, guys, we've put together the hand in the glove to make sure that, and there's our system right up on Jeff's screen there, that the VA Staffer crew are ready to use White Label Suite in the way that we know can help make you money. That's what we're here for.
That's exactly it. And there's some really good questions in here. And by the way, I'm always going to lead with complete and utter authenticity. Like somebody, let me see who commented earlier. Sandy says, I literally haven't made a penny yet in my business. So how would I get started to make this start working? Honestly, I wouldn't hire a VA yet. No, I'm just going to tell you the truth.
No, 100%. We teach the same thing, man. We teach the same thing. Get your first deal and charge $1,000 setup fee. And you use the $1,000 to get your VA so that you can go and get your next deals. You need to get cash. But what we always teach in White Label Suite is get your first deal, and your setup fee is to hire a VA so that you can therefore forever be free. Right. And we shout this with red flags, you guys. You absolutely do not fulfill your first client. Do not. You absolutely use that money to get your team, because otherwise you'll never get out of that rut ever. So you use the money that you generate to get the team so that you can go and make more money. Right? That's right. 100%. Exactly the right message. You go and get your first sale, your second sale, and you use that money to get your team so that you can make sales for the rest of your life. That's the gold.
And for those of you that are listening and you're not able to see the chat, just vastaffer.com. You can go there, click the book a call button. But I want you to imagine this. Okay, just imagine that you're actually generating leads for your business and for other people on autopilot. That's the beautiful part, because you're already white labeling this, right? You have a white label suite. So you're generating leads for yourself and you're able to generate leads for other people. So now you're solving two problems, because now every time that you sell, right, the service, you can do it two ways. You can basically sell the white label suite as a SaaS, right? And you can have people run it themselves, or you can have a paid lead generation service.
Yep.
Which, by the way, is more profitable. I just want to point that out there.
And guys, who'd like to know how to get their clients to pay for your own VA? Like, just drop a one in the chat for me. If you'd like to not pay for the VA yourself out of your own pocket, give me a one in the chat. Here's how it works. You sell the white label suite software with 2 tiers. You say, okay, Mr. Customer, hey, if you want your lead generation software, it's going to be $297 a month. But if you want the lead generation software and one of our team to actually run it for you every month and fill your calendar, it's going to be $597 a month. The software and the person running it together. Now you got a couple of people doing that, right? And now your clients are paying for your VA to do the lead gen, right? And you've got the SOPs, you've got the training manual. So offer it as a tiered service. Now that gives you a third way, right? So number one, sell it as a software. Cool. GHL's in the same space, guys. You sell it as a software, or you just sell it as a software with a service, and you add that additional money on top, right? And your business owners that you're talking to, they will pay you for 2 things: time and convenience, right? Time and convenience. Oh, and the third thing, speed. So Mr. Business Owner, you can learn it yourself, probably take you a couple of weeks to get up to speed. You know, you're going to have to work, or I can turn this on for you tomorrow, and one of my team can run the whole thing for you for an extra couple $100 a month, right? Oh, you want to put in the CRM program? So what we'll do is we'll get the leads, qualify the leads, put them in the system, nurture them through the funnel, answer all the questions, get them on your landing page, get them booked into your calendar, and answer everything along the way. Yeah, that's $997 a month, right? But it's a $2,000 setup fee for us to get started. Like, you can use this to add service. That's why every single VA that you bring on your team is an investment that makes you more money.
Bingo. And you guys already know, I mean, all the different things that you can do with white label suite, your VA can do for you. Okay. So not only do you able to use this to generate leads for yourself, but you can also have it generate all your AI writing. You can have all this amazing things it does for you. It can scour for emails and phone numbers and everything, which is super valuable, not only for yourself, but for other business owners, for other people, right? As an agency owner, you're able to sell that information, okay? Selling information is literally right now the most valuable thing on the earth, right? America's #1 economy, and we don't sell anything except software, it seems, anymore. We don't produce anything. Oh, military equipment and software. And I would even say the military equipment has software in it. So
I would say
software, right?
So you're in the most valuable business there is what we're talking about.
That's right. So I'm going to leave open this QR code for you guys. If you don't know how to use white label suite, I don't know if you want to do a little demo, Walt, or I don't know how most of you guys are experienced with it. I'm going to leave the QR code up here while we talk for a second, but basically 30-minute strategy call is what I'm offering you guys today. We actually care about the people. And one thing I will promise you is that we don't have a sales team. You know, earlier when I said that I fired myself and I hired Julio's actually, his job is to disqualify people from working with us. You know, we want to make sure that you guys have a working plan before you hire us. And that's one of the reasons why we do the strategy call. We want to assess what you're working on right now. We want to see how we can help you fire yourself from what you're doing. We want to see how we can create a revenue generating virtual assistant for you. Okay. Now that revenue generating activity is now a revenue generating virtual assistant, RGVA, right? So using white label suite and everything that Walt has shown you and what you can do with the tool, we'll actually help you come up with a strategy so you can stay focused on what you really should be doing, right? Which is that magic that's inside you, that zone of genius.
So guys, leave that up on the screen for right now for Jeff. Guys, so our intention, myself, Johan, Kyle, our entire team at White Label Suite, we literally have one goal, and that is to enable 1 million entrepreneurs to make impacts in their community. That is what we're here for, right? We want to enable you. Now, like, this is how we make money, by the way. So we're doing this. We're not like, oh, you guys are Saint Teresa. No, we're not. We are here to make a heck of a lot of money along the way and, you know, do a lot of good. But the way we've chosen to do that is to enable entrepreneurs to achieve freedom for themselves. That's what we've found our love and mission. And this piece, I started this call today by saying this could be, I think, potentially one of the most important hours that you can spend in your journey towards freedom, because getting a hold of this will change your life. And I mean it. I mean it, like, from the bottom of my heart. Stop being busy and start being big. Stop being busy and start being big. All right. Stop working until midnight trying to fulfill all of the promises that you made to the client to bring in that last $500 that you put together, and start generating more bigger opportunities and letting the team take care of it for you. Now, the cool thing is, with the VA Staffer crew, you've got not just a person that's coming into your company, you literally have a company wrapped around that person. Like, Jeff, let's be honest, man, like, anybody here can go out and find a VA. So why would they work with VA Staffer to do that? Because you guys do the recruitment, you do the training, you do the management, you do the oversight, you do the piece that makes sure that when that person comes into your company, you're actually investing in a team behind that person, right? So now you're actually creating a collaborative work environment where your team is supported by a huge multinational team and Jeff and the crew behind it. Yeah. So guys, our whole entire world is about helping you achieve freedom for yourself as an entrepreneur. And to do that, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, I promise you that the number one thing you need to do is free yourself up from the busy work of your day-to-day so that you can focus on performing at your best, delivering the magic, which only comes when you're talking to a person, to a VIP client face to face, and you don't have that time unless other people are doing the work with you, right? So this, again, I believe it from the bottom of my heart. Our goal is to help you achieve that freedom, and working with a VA team and a team that's trained and can come and help you grow is your number one way of achieving that.
Yeah,
Right?
and I'm looking at some of these questions coming in, Walt, and they're really great. One of them asked, it's actually Tammy. She says, "What if we don't know what to ask from a VA?"
Great question.
And it's a great question. First off, obviously, besides running White Label Suite, I showed you earlier, and I'd love to put this back on the screen. All of our virtual assistants are trained how to do everything that I showed you earlier. And you might have came late, but these are a few things that my VA does for me. She's doing my emails, follow-ups, setting up autoresponders, receptionist duties, file management, calendar management, personal errands, you know, even more on with AI now. She's doing, you know, email, social media posts now. There's so many different things that they can do. And the point of that strategy call, by the way, is to figure out if you're ready for a VA or not. You might not be.
I actually, I used to have that question as well. Like, okay, so what am I going to get the VA to do to make sure that they're paying for themselves? Like, what if I've got this person and suddenly I've got to pay their wage as well? Do you know one of the best things that you can do is ask your VA? This is what I did with Carla when she came on. Ask your VA what they're good at. Oh, I'm really great at this. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even think to ask you about that. Right. So it's like, ask them what they're good at. But all of the stuff that's on the screen right there, Gary Vaynerchuk, book on the shelf over there, talks about the fact that you should be posting on LinkedIn 10 to 15 times a day. Who's doing that?
Right.
Who's doing that? Like, who in the chat is posting on LinkedIn 15 times a day? Who in the chat brought in an extra 200 cold leads into their funnel this week? Who in the chat has got emails that have been in their inbox that they haven't followed up on? All of the stuff you know you should be doing, that's where your VA is going to free up your time. And then as that trust with your VA builds, you're going to get freer and freer and freer so that you can start to actually generate income from this.
Yeah, let me I'd like to pull up something. I'm just gonna drop this link one more time because actually there's there's a couple of private questions that came in too, guys. And just so you guys know, sometimes I can't see those private messages. So John asked, do we have any writers in my lineup? Well, actually with AI, our VAs are actually pretty good at writers, and we do have specific content writers on our team that you can leverage on an hourly basis. They don't have to be dedicated to you. I probably should tell you guys a little bit about what we do too. I just offered a strategy call with you guys, but let me share with you guys a little bit about what we offer. We have a full-time assistant, okay, like my own Jackie. She's an 8 hour a day, and we also offer part-time, okay? So you can actually start with a part-time VA for $800 a month. Okay. One of the things, and they're going to work for you 20 hours a week. Okay. So that's 4 hours a day. Now, I want to zoom in here and show you that post that went viral on LinkedIn, because I think it's probably one of the most valuable posts I've ever written, probably why it did so well on LinkedIn. But I want to just go over just what a typical day looks like, and why my assistant allows me to basically beat out more than most of the entrepreneurs that I know. Okay. Remember earlier I talked about how she starts her shift 1 hour before I even wake up, right? She starts her shift 1 hour before I wake up so she can go through my emails and address any issues. Any emails that require attention, she marks as unread and then flags it as important. And then she sends me a screenshot. She reviews my calendar and she tells me what I have on it for the day, the to-do list for my prior day. And then we have a daily 9 a.m. call just to review our priorities. I actually have 2 calls with her a day, one in the morning and one before the end of her shift. Okay. She attends all my calls. She takes detailed meeting minutes of attendees, agenda, discussion, action items, and then she sends follow-ups to those that require action. Throughout the day, she's checking my emails. She addresses one she knows how to handle, and she asks me the one she's not sure of. On a typical day, I get 5 to 10 requests for meetings and calls, which she typically will screen and hand off to other team members, or on a rare occasion, they will actually get on my calendar. She's basically my gatekeeper. And before the end of her shift, she does a check-in call with me. We do a to-list. We redo the to-do list and priorities. She follows up with the things that are not done. And if they're not done, we reprioritize the list for tomorrow. If all you did was have a VA do those 6 things, you're going to be that much far ahead, because you not only have an assistant, but now you have an accountability partner, which, by the way, I think the word accountability partner is really overrated. You really need someone who is actually accountable for you. Most people have an accountability partner like, hey, we're going to go to the gym today. Yeah, let's go, guys. How well did that work out for you? Right? It's kind of like January 1st, right, Kyle?
And it ends up being bottomless mimosas instead on a Sunday.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. And I want to run you guys through real quick just how we actually hire our team. Okay. So this is something, because a lot of people, like what you said earlier, Walt, a lot of people say, well, why would I hire a VA through you guys versus like online jobs or Upwork or whatever? Okay. Now, at the very beginning of this presentation, I share with you guys that I made the mistake for the first 6 years of building this company of hiring virtual assistants. Okay. Most virtual assistants are actually entrepreneurs, and they're juggling multiple clients. They've been fed the dream that they can work very little time and make a lot of money, just like we have. Right? So if we're going to hire somebody who has a mentality that they can work as little as possible and make lots of money, it's not going to work right. Okay? We need to find someone who actually has that kind of employee mindset, who can actually help us and grow, and they're dedicated to working with us. They actually care, right? So what I found is that the worst place to hire these people are from online freelance websites, because they're freelancers. They're juggling multiple clients. They don't care. They're not truly dedicated to you. Okay. You might find a couple good ones, but that's only until they find something better than you, someone that pays more. Okay. So what we do is we actually go out to call centers in the Philippines, people that already work on American hours, which by the way, that was another question I didn't answer. Somebody asked earlier, do they work on our time zone? Yeah, they work in American time zone. They can work in Australian time zone. They can work in the UK time zone. They're very flexible. But what I do recommend is whether you get a part-time or full-time, that you have a dedicated block of time. That way they can still have a life. Okay? Like they will work on your schedule, but they do want to have a life. So make sure that it's consistent, not like, hey, I want you to work from 1 in the morning until 4, and then like again at like 6 p.m. until 9. Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
These are
You
your
get a
people.
block,
Yeah.
you get a block of time.
Yeah.
Okay. And secondly, our training process is very rigorous. I actually wrote an article on entrepreneur.com about what we call the experiential hiring process that I actually invented. Okay. The experiential hiring process. So I've been building remote teams before remote teams were cool. I have 20 years of experience building remote teams for Fortune 500s before I became an entrepreneur even. So one of the things that we do is, especially with ChatGPT, you cannot trust a resume anymore because ChatGPT makes a perfect resume. Okay. So what do we do with this, guys? Let me tell you, there's a little problem here. Okay. When you have people that you just can't trust because they have ChatGPT resumes, the only way to really understand if they're going to work for you or not, if it's going to work out, is by giving them a test. Okay, this is what we call experiential hiring. So we actually have a 90-minute test for anyone to even get an interview with our team members. Okay, before they even get on the phone with Isabel, who is our recruiter, our human resources officer, they have to pass a 90-minute test, which includes a personality test. They have to listen to a phone call. We give them a 20-minute phone call. They have to take meeting minutes. And by the way, remember how I said adaptability is so important? Okay. Before they even, we give them a 20-minute phone call and a blank template for meeting minutes. It just says, attendees, objectives, challenges. I think it says, call to action, right? And it literally just runs through the process and they have to figure out how to fill it in. And if they can't figure it out, they fail. And it's time too. We know that if it takes over 90 minutes, they're not going to work out because we want people that are fast and adaptable. They learn fast. Okay. We have a series of tests that they have to do before they even get onto an interview. And then when they get into an interview, there is a 30-day training where we teach them everything that you saw earlier. Okay, we have experts come in and train them on a variety of different things. One all the way from email management to calendar management to how to manage WordPress and how to manage contacts inside CRMs like Go High Level and HubSpot and things like that. We teach them how to use AI. We teach them how to use White Label Suite. We teach them how to use a variety of tools that people really require use out of every day. We also have a communications training just so that they can understand the jargon, the lingo of American entrepreneurs and Australians and the UK. We have very specific training to make them what we call executive assistants. Okay. There's a lot of virtual assistants out there, but we really focus on executive assistants, people that you can really rely on that really at an executive capacity. So if you're a leader, if you're a business owner, if you're a founder, these people are literally trained and designed to support you. That's a 30-day training. Now, we don't just get them in the training and then kick them off to our clients. After a 30-day training, then they have 2 weeks of shadowing our already successful executive assistants on our team, which is why, by the way, we only have right now 5 virtual assistants available for probably the next 30 days. Okay. And when they're gone, they're gone. And then we recruit again. It takes about 45 days. It's a very unscalable business, by the way. It's very hard. I hire about 10 people every 2 months. Okay. So right now we have about 5 VAs, I'd say. We might have a little bit, we might have more if people need part-time, because we don't hire part-time VAs. We only hire full-time. So if you want a part-time VA from us, that means that they're working part-time for you and they're working part-time for someone else. Okay. We also have people on our team that do copywriting. We have people that do graphic design. We have people that do video editing, but those usually you don't need full-time. So we can actually help you out and give you An hourly package is as low as $298 a month, and that'll give you 20 hours of using our team. It's about $14.90 an hour, something like that. So if you need someone to help edit some video clips or podcasts, or create some graphics for social media, or help design a sales page or landing page, things like that, help you make a book cover, we have that too. So that's everything that we have. We have part-time VAs, which I call executive assistants. We have full-time executive assistants, and we have an hourly model that can help you with graphic design, video, copy, and some WordPress ClickFunnels type go high level stuff.
Perfect. Amazing. And again, guys, like our hugest and highest endorsement to Jeff and the team at VA Staffer. Just what we're trying to do here, guys, is free you up to live the life that you wanted to achieve as an entrepreneur. You will not be able to grow past 6 figures if you're doing it all yourself. You absolutely will need people behind you to be able to do this. I've told the story before about when the very first time I ever had somebody take tasks off my plate. It completely changed my life. I was burning out. I was spending 18 hours a day just trying to manage my own support desk. And somebody popped in and they charged me $200 for a week and literally got me back 40 hours of my week. From that, we're able to create new opportunities. We're able to just grow and expand. We're able to have that one meeting that put $10,000 in our bank account. Like you can't do that when you're trying to do everything yourself. And I know Dave Smith asked a question last week about, if you run a coaching business, how can I pass off tasks to a VA when I am the business? The key piece here, guys, is there's one thing that your business revolves around. There's one thing that you do, and that's the magic that you do. But there's a million things in a business that need to get done. If it's as simple as posting on social media, it could be as simple as responding to emails, but it could be as important as lead generation, right? And if you've got somebody on your team who gives a damn, who's filling your calendar for you, now you have an asset that's returning valuable income for you, okay? It's so important to be able to be free as the entrepreneur, to make sales, to speak to clients, to perform at the level that you need to be able to perform at. You cannot be the one taking out the trash in the morning, right? You have to be the person in the front of the house doing the work, okay? And there's a whole bunch of people, like we said about Brian, that you can bring into your business, change their life. They love you for it so that you can perform on stage as the magician that you are, right?
Yeah.
It's super, super, super important, you guys.
So there's a couple more questions I want to answer before we get off of here.
I apologize. I can't see the question box, by the way. For some reason, Zoom's killing me. So guys, if I'm not answering your questions, that's why. I can't scroll it. I don't know. I'm asking Kyle to screenshot the questions for me just in case I'm missing anything, but I can't see your questions. So ask them again publicly. I literally can't scroll the question box, but go, Jeff. What else is out there?
So Brandon says, is there an initial setup fee or a training fee in addition? So let me tell you how it works. Okay. Whether you get a full-time, part-time, or an hourly program, there is a $497 upfront, what we call setup fee or onboarding fee. Now you're getting a free strategy call. So there's no obligation on this call here. You get on a strategy call. Our team is literally going to deep dive into your business. We're going to find out how we can help you, if we can help you, and if we're a good fit. Okay. Now, what you're going to get when you first sign up is an onboarding call with Isabel. Okay. Isabel is my recruiter, the one I was telling you about, my human resource officer. She's kind of like your virtual assistant matchmaker. She's going to pop on. She's going to help really understand the type of person you are. Believe it or not, the VA or executive assistant that gets paired with you, a lot of it has to do with your situation, your personality type. Yes, it's actually like a matchmaking process. We're like, what type of person really works? As a matter of fact, we have a situation today where my HR person is swapping out a virtual assistant for a client because the client made one of our VAs cry. We found out that our client is a little aggressive, and she kind of, gets a little bit loud on Zoom calls and things like that. And the assistant that was working for her was kind of like stressed out and was like, I don't know how to deal with a person like this. And we had a conversation with the client and we swapped it out. So that, by the way, wasn't a mismatch. The problem is that you didn't find out who the client really was until she got on a Zoom call with the VA. You know what I'm saying? She was very nice with us. By the way, she was this close to getting fired today. Okay. Don't make me fire you. I don't like firing clients. All right. But what we really do is we try to find someone who's a really good mesh for you. It's a culture fit as well. Like who you are, what type of person we try to pair up with you, whether it's a male or female. There's lots of different factors that go into making sure you have a really good executive assistant. We consider ourselves a permanent staffing solution. So we're literally teaming you up with like a partner that you can have for life. That's what we're looking at. Someone that can really build and grow and care about your business, just like my Jackie, just like Isabel. Isabel, who's now my human resources officer, used to be my own executive assistant until she grew into a human resources officer role. And then Jackie came in and Isabel chained up Jackie to be my assistant. And now Jackie's stuck with me for quite some time now.
So good.
Jackie, if you're listening, you're never going anywhere.
I love it. Jackie was the first person that popped onto the call when we were getting together. I was like, hey, so what do you do for Jeff on his calls? I take notes. I make sure that any action points are actioned. I take everything that needs to be done off his plate. And I was like, wow, I'm so grateful that you're on this call. It was really great to meet her. Brandon's asked, will a part-time VA be able to do the white label suite generate? Thank you for screenshotting that, Carl, so I can answer. Yeah, like what a valuable activity that can be.
So a part-time virtual assistant, you'd want a dedicated assistant. You know, the smallest dedicated assistant package is $800 a month, and that's for a 4-hour a day executive assistant, someone who's already trained up how to do all the stuff, like I said, how to do. The question he asked was if he uses the hourly plan, the $298. That $298 plan is just for what we call creatives. Right. So we have a pooled creative team that does videos, graphic design, web design, copywriting, things like that. So that creative team probably wouldn't use the white label suite just because you'd probably want to have this person who understands your business. It would have to be someone dedicated. And right. If you're using the creative team, they're not dedicated. They're a shared resource for multiple clients. Like multiple clients need graphic design. So that client needs a graphic, they do that. This client needs a graphic, they do that. So that's kind of like our pooled hours.
So Brandon, just to like carry that through a little bit more, Carla, who's on our team, does lead gen for us, right? So she is in our LinkedIn as me. She's reaching out to our ideal clients, which I've given her the scope of who we're looking for, and she's engaging them on a personal one-to-one basis, right? And she's bringing people into our company. So even if you're on the part-time, the $800 a month avenue of that, if your VA was spending, let's say, 1 hour of that time a day in your white label suite program, putting leads into your system and monitoring the conversation box, the way that we've taught Carla and the way that we've built out the SOPs is, you know, all of those social media icons in white label suite, we drop all of our prospects into an automated sequence. All right. And again, guys, I need to be very clear. You need to be compliant in your own local places and all that kind of stuff. But our process is we drop people into an automated system, into an automated series. And then one day later, we go back off and literally in order of those social media icons, Carla reaches out on the social media platforms and lets people know, hey, I sent you an email yesterday. Did you receive it? That was on Facebook, day 1. Day 2, it's on Instagram. Hey, just reaching out. We've popped through a message. Wanted to make sure I reach you. Is there any questions I can answer? Right. So even if on a part-time basis, all they did was load up your white label suite and follow up people, would you believe that you could make 1 extra sale in a month by doing that? Right. And and again, even if they only spent 1 hour doing that, what else will they do? Or your social media posts. They'll manage your calendar. They'll follow up, making sure proposals are sent back to clients. They can recruit your next staff member. They can learn that course that you've been wanting to learn. I gave Carla a course about, I can't even remember. It was some LinkedIn software that we wanted to use. And I said, I know this is good. I haven't been able to use it. Can you go and learn it? Cool. Next thing you know, she's learning it and she's doing the process. It's amazing. So using the white label suite tool and working with a virtual assistant to generate your leads and keep your funnel full is one of the most valuable activities you could ever possibly wish for.
I want to go back to, I was going to say, I want to go back to something. Megan in the chat says, is it worth doing a call? I'm offering this call for free. So you can pop a call and worst case scenario, you're prepared. You kind of have an understanding of what you need to do in your business to be ready for a VA. You know, And I'm paying these guys to do this, right? Like I want people to be successful. I want to see people win, just like Walt. That's why we teamed up.
That's why we're doing what we're doing. Hey, I've got a private message there again, Kyle. Thank you for screenshotting that, man. I've got a private message here from Michael, and he said he didn't want to drop this as a public question because it didn't want to set off a hand grenade in the group. But I think it's an important question. On the VA stuff, it says no inbound or outbound calls, but you mentioned that you're bringing people in from call centers, and he says, is that something that is a maybe, or is that just a no go? I don't want to speak for you, so go for it.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. And this is probably going to be shocking to some of you guys. Have you guys ever done a job that you hate, but you knew it paid good money?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So most of the reason why Filipinos, by the way, 13% of all of the entire economy of the Philippines are actually call centers, business process outsourcing, they call it BPO. Most of them actually hate their jobs. They hate doing calls. The reason why they are doing the calls is because it makes money. So one of the ways we're able to attract people to work for us, and they work for us for a long time. I have people on my team that have been working with me since I started the company in 2014, 10 years. Okay. April of 2014. I still have people on my team from April of 2014. The reason why we're able to attract the talent, because by the way, we attract people that I shouldn't say love their jobs, but they're satisfied. They're content with their jobs. Okay. We actually don't like to look for people that are looking for us. We like to look for people that aren't looking for a job. Okay. We found that people that are not looking for a job usually have a longer tenure. They have more loyalty. So we're trying to find people that actually like their jobs, but maybe they feel like they're stuck at a certain point. And what we found is that most call center agents don't like their job. They don't like doing voice. It's just that it pays well.
Yeah.
So for us to tell them, hey, you will never have to answer a damn call again to an irate customer. You'll never have to do an outbound call and try to sell somebody or try to get them to book an appointment or whatever. And they are so damn happy. And by the way, you shouldn't hire a VA to do calls anyway, because the AI software is getting there now.
I was going to say, I listened to an outbound AI call center program yesterday with Larry, and he was like, it's amazing, guys. So like you can have, so here's the value, right? You have the AI make the call, qualify the prospect, and when they're interested, you get your VA to take over on a chat system. So, sure, John, how can I help you? What can I do? Like, that's really cool. But great question, Michael. Thank you so much for asking.
Or vice versa, Walt. Like in my case, I use the VAs to basically warm them up in the chat and get them on a call with me.
Perfect. Exactly. How amazing, right? Like on a chat, beautiful. So good. So good. And that's what Carl is doing with us on the DMs and on Instagram and on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So super cool. All right, guys.
I want to end with one last thing, Walt.
Go, man.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So remember in the beginning of this, for those of you who have been here since the beginning, thank you guys. I mentioned how a lot of times people come to me and they say, I don't know if I can afford a virtual assistant. I want to just break it down to you this way. If you had a part-time VA that you're paying $800 a month, and that VA is using White Label Suite and going on LinkedIn and getting you booked on podcasts, and their activities get you one client. I'm just curious. Can you guys type in the chat how much one client brings in for you a month? I'm just curious. Is it $1,000, $1,500, a couple $1,000, right?
Let's see the numbers.
Tammy says $3,000.
There you go.
So if all your virtual assistant did that worked 4 hours a day for you, okay, was get you one client a month, in Tammy's example, that's $3,000. Right? So you're reframing the issue here. You're dealing with what we call a scarcity mindset. So, but on the other side of that, like the person who says that they don't make any money yet, is it because you're using the software and haven't generated a lead yet? You got to dial that in. What the whole idea of a virtual assistant is to take what's working and blow it up.
Right.
Okay. So if you don't have something that's working yet, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You're probably not ready yet.
You're not ready. Yeah, absolutely. Get the money flowing in first, and then get the VA to take off the workload of that.
Cool. Well,
So,
I appreciate
if you haven't made any money yet, If you haven't made any money yet, honestly, get into the training and focus on the offer that you're making out to the world. Like there's training in our members area on creating an offer. If you're not making any money yet, that's your starting point. Get your offer to the point where business owners are happy to pay you. As soon as that happens, that first payment, that's your team. That's your team. All right. And again, purely personal experience. If you take that money and you need it because you need to live and pay your bills, and like, I need to hold on to that money so that I can pay my own bills, guess what's going to happen? You're going to work your butt off to fulfill for that client, all right, that you just brought on board. And you're going to fulfill that client. You're going to over deliver because you want them to be a testimonial client. You're going to work yourself to the bone and stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning trying to fulfill that for that client. And guess what? As soon as that project's done, you're going to be hunting for the next one. And it's a never ending cycle. If you work to getting a good offer where a business owner is happy to pay you money, you take that first payment, and I know you need it. I know it. I feel it. I've been there, right? I know you need that money, but you take that money and you invest in team to take over the work. I guarantee you'll get more clients because you'll be free enough to do the sales calls, and you'll be free from that day on, right? I know you need that money. I know you need it. But if you invest in growing your team, you'll be able to generate more because you're free, right? Truth.
Yes. And I also just want to point out there, because I know some of you guys already booked the strategy call. Thank you. Make sure that when it'll say like, where did you come from? Just put white label suite in there, or just type white label just so we know where you're coming from. Because obviously we get a lot of people that come in, and we want to make sure that you guys, we already know that we're looking for a VA for you that's going to run your white label suite for you. So put that in there so our team is able to help you out with that. We also have some standard operating procedures, basically some step-by-step guides on how to actually have your virtual assistant do this for you. Okay. So that will be in the community. So you guys will find that. Kyle, I believe you said you're gonna drop that in the community soon.
Yeah. So Kyle and the team and your team have been working together on that too. So again, we trained our team, Carla, to use White Label Suite to do lead generation for us. So we took that training and we've packaged it up to make it universal. And that now becomes what we call an SOP, a standard operating procedure. It becomes a system that can run for you in conjunction with the team from VA Stuffer. So yeah, absolutely.
Wait. Yeah, I actually have to agree what Ed just said. He said, "Where'd the time go?" I looked down. Wow. We said we were going to do this 60 minutes.
This is a 60-minute call.
Almost 2 hours now. So,
nice.
Walt, that's like our 15-minute calls.
Yeah, right. Kyle, yesterday, our 15-minute call was an hour and a half. Jeff, I love you, man. And again, like we have the same goal here, right? And that goal is, guys, there's people on this call. I want you to be free. You didn't get into business for yourself so that you could work 100 hours a week. You didn't. You don't want to be there when your kids are growing up. Like for me, I said to Kyle, my non-negotiables are my kids' time, right? It's just non-negotiable. The reality is you can achieve freedom as an entrepreneur. It's been proven. And if one person can do it, that means you can do it. When you examine how they did it, every single person, number one thing they say is it's the team. The number one thing, there's got to be something in that, right? There's got to be something in that. And this is the way that you can bring in a trained, qualified team member who gives a damn, that you can then go off and be the magician that you need to be to generate more and more income, right? So we care about you guys. We want you to be successful. And again, from us, this is what we do. And Jeff, thank you for making this available. And AI has just made your whole VA team more powerful. We'll get into, that's like, it's like the accelerator button has been pushed down, which is super cool.
I never even finished that story, guys. I almost sold the business. I literally almost sold VA Staffer January 2023. I had an incredible offer, an LOI, letter of interest, somebody who gave me a fat number that was a pretty good multiplier of what our business revenue is. And it was super tempting. And, I really had a powwow with my leadership team, just how I've been very transparent with you guys. I'm also very transparent with my team. I just said, hey guys, AI might be taking everybody's jobs here. We got to figure this out. And I went to the Philippines to kind of like see if we could beat AI, and found out that we couldn't. So then it's kind of like the old saying, if you can't beat them, join them. And we kind of found out that the AI actually supercharged all of our VAs and made them more valuable and able to do more things that entrepreneurs needed, especially on the content creation side. So that's really incredible. And
so AI is great. AI is amazing. You got to be able to drive it. A VA is amazing. Right. You got to know what to do with it. An AI with VA, A VA with AI. Oh yeah, it's like
That's
rocket fuel,
That's
baby.
the combo. All right. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for joining us. And Walt is going to make sure that you guys pop this replay for those of you who came in a little bit
And if
late.
you're watching this on a replay, the link is whitelabelsuite.com/VA staffer. Okay. VA staffer, no hyphens, no spaces. Whitelabelsuite.com/VA staffer. All right. And that's going to go across to that strategy call with Jeff. Now, if you get on the call with Jeff and he says, you're not quite ready for a VA yet, there's some things you need to get in place, take that advice, come back in, ask the question, what do I need to do next? There's plans in our training area that can help you get to that point. When you've got an offer that's ready, then you can head back over and get the person on your team that's going to take that off for you. Jeff, thank you, man. I know you got to bolt for another appearance this afternoon. Great to see you guys. And again, let's get you growing, guys. Let's get you growing. Let's get people on your team that are going to help you make money and expand. We can't wait to hear the results. Jeff, thank you, man. Kyle, thank you for manning the chat. I have no idea why I can't drive the Zoom call today, but anyway, that's okay. We love you guys. Thank you so much for jumping in, and let's go and get growing, guys. See you on the next call. Thank you, Mr. Hunter.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.